present Huddle Up, a great way to start your day with all the news, weather, and sports you need, interesting interviews, and friendly conversation from two guys that go together like Scooby and Shaggy, Mike Will and Tyson Havronic.
And good morning, everyone. It is a Tuesday. It is the 12th day of November for 2024. You're ready to start your day the right way with Mike Will, Tyson Havronic. This is Huddle Up on Extreme Sports. A lot to talk about today. A little coaching change in Lincoln. We'll be telling you about that coming up. The Nebraska football team getting ready to play against USC this coming Saturday. Women's basketball team is going to be in action tonight. Hastings College women's basketball team is going to be in action tonight. And the women's soccer team will play for some hardware tonight out at Lloyd Wilson Field. And we had an NFL football game last night. Just some of the things we'll be talking about sports-wise here this morning on Huddle Up as Tyson Havronic will join us from our Western studios today. Good morning.
And a good morning to you, Mike, as we wake up and get going. Yeah, breaking news on the Husker coaching front. Really like the fact that it was about 5 minutes after we wrap up Huddle Up that we get the breaking news on the coaching switcheroo. But as we've kind of been, I've kind of been calling for the last couple weeks, maybe a change in the play caller. We had a consultant that came in and was hired a week ago, and that consultant is now consulted to the point where he's ready to call some plays. So we'll hear from Coach Rule coming up here on the show. But really, really interesting mid-season shakeup, Mike, and that just shows you, I think, how committed this coaching staff and Coach Rule in particular is on getting the job done here this season and making that next step towards bowl progression and getting to that sixth win. So making a mid-change offensive coordinator position. Just your thoughts when you heard the news.
Yeah, not even mid-season, Tyson. 3 games to go in the season. He didn't wait until after the season is completed to maybe switch the staff around and maybe release some guys. He's doing it now. The Huskers are still 1-1 away from bowl eligibility, so I think he's after that. I really do. I think he's after the bowl eligibility. He wants to get there, and with 3 games remaining, he thought this was the best choice. He brought in Dana Holgerson, one of his friends from his past stops, and he came in as a consultant. And like you said, it didn't last long. It was like a week consultant thing there, and all of a sudden, hey, I think we got something going here. Why don't you call the plays from now on?
Yeah, and it just breathes a little bit more fresh air into the program. It gives a little bit more belief. I know that if you listen to Big Red Reaction over the course of the last couple weeks, it has been very single-minded, very single-focused. There's clearly been one guy in the crosshairs in terms of the Husker supporters and the product that they're seeing and paying money for it and watching on the field. And let's be really honest. I mean, in the last couple of years, in the last 2 seasons, the glaringly obvious thing for Nebraska football has been on the offensive side of the football. We have kind of turned into Iowa offensively a little bit, just in terms of how we move the football and putting up points. How many times we watch this program and it's 3 and out and we're punting the football and you didn't even get a chance to get over to the fridge and get a beer yet. I mean, I'm excited for this change. I think that it breathes some life into this Husker program. Very interested to get anybody's thoughts that's out there this morning that wants to kind of weigh in on the coaching switcheroo. We'll be talking a good majority of the program about it. 402-434 1330, our number. You can call into the show and weigh in on your thoughts on the old coaching switcheroo. So, new offensive coordinator here for Nebraska.
834.
Did I screw that up?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. 402-834-1330. That's normally your line.
Yeah.
That's normally your line. I tried to swoop in and take it, and you see what happens.
Yeah, so
we fumble it.
Well, and I took my note down because I put this new high-tech bulletin board in front of me. I had the number taped to the studio wall here. Took that down yesterday and put this newfangled bulletin board in front of me, so I didn't have to keep taping stuff to the side of the studio wall here today, and then I
you
took
made
the
some
note.
improvements.
Yeah, well, I took the note down, and now I don't know where the note's at. And as soon as you read the number, I said, "Wait a minute, that's not right."
That's not right.
Yeah, 834-1330. You can chime in anytime with us here on Huddle Up. Maybe get your thoughts on the coaching move down in Lincoln, or if you'd like to drop us a comment on Facebook Live, we can monitor those comments. Tyson has got his eyeballs on the Facebook Live messages. Listening to us here this morning, several ways. X-streamsports.com. You can listen to us on your smartphone with your free mobile app on your way to work or school this morning. We got the smart speaker with your Alexa. We've got Facebook Live, and now on Roku TV. We've got cameras set up in each one of our studios. If you'd like us to do our thing here, kind of join you at the breakfast table. Yeah, that's what we do here. We join everybody at the breakfast table and they get you out the door with all the news, weather, and sports that you need to know before you head off here this morning. But again, if you'd like to chime in on what's going on down in Lincoln, we'd certainly love to talk to you again. 834-1330 is our telephone number, 402-834-1330. So what else is going on? We've got soccer action coming up tonight here on Extreme Sports. The Hastings College women's soccer team going to play Concordia for the hardware tonight. Both of these teams will be heading to the national tournament, but we're going to settle the GPAC tournament championship tonight out at Lloyd Wilson Field.
Yeah, and it should be an exciting atmosphere over at Lloyd Wilson Field. You have two titans in the Great Plains Athletic Conference on the women's soccer side of things. Concordia has such a good defense. They shut out Dort in the semifinal round. Dort has the leading scorer in all of the Great Plains Athletic Conference, so Concordia is able to pick up the clean sheet in that contest, and now taking on a back four that has just done tremendous work this season for Jade Ovendale and the Hastings College Broncos, and they've needed the back four. I mean, the Hastings College, you remember mid-season, they go through a goaltending switcheroo because of some injuries, ending up going to a third-string goalie on the depth chart and freshman Tatiana Villasenor, and they've made her comfortable back there in the goalpost. And there's a lot of times where, let's be real clear, she doesn't have a whole lot of work to do because that back four is so good at keeping balls out of the box, keeping the attacking play at bay from the opponents in the Great Plains Athletic Conference. So I think we're going to see two really tight defenses, and it will be interesting to see how the tactics play out and who is able to get that go-ahead goal, grab a little bit of a lead, get themselves something to hang on to, and possibly cruise their way into a Great Plains Athletic Conference trophy. And I know that, mentally you get the idea, right? You have two teams that, we've already qualified for the national tournament, so we can just play loose, play fun. But at the same time, I mean, this is for hardware. And you're putting hardware on the line, and there's 11 players on that pitch, and the 22, if you count Concordia, that are going to be really hungry to hoist that trophy at the end of the night. So it should be a fantastic atmosphere. Again, you mentioned it, hardware on the line. It's a cup tie GPAC Conference Championship, and what a thrill it would be for Hastings College to go back-to-back. This is a team that had the bullseye on their back all year long, having won the Great Plains Athletic Conference championship a year ago. And so to not only win and be top of the table and get that automatic qualifying bid, but then to go through the grind of a conference tournament, a tremendous opportunity awaiting the Broncos as they continue to prove why they're one of the better programs, not only in the Great Plains Athletic Conference, but also in the NAIA. Should be a lot of fun.
So that'll be tonight here on Extreme Sports, beginning with a pregame at about 6:45. Then the same two schools, Hastings and Concordia, will play again tomorrow night for the men's championship. This will be in Seward. So the Hastings College men and women in the GPAC women's and men's soccer championships. And then the volleyball team will play in the semifinals tomorrow. They'll be in Orange City, Iowa, to take on Northwestern. So the Hastings College fall sports teams doing well with women's and men's soccer in the GPAC tournament championships. And the volleyball team, they will play in the semifinals tomorrow against a very good Northwestern team as they look to maybe grab a spot in the GPAC finals.
Yeah, and it's very, very Tough Northwestern team. Everybody knows the story. The book's out on them. Undefeated on the regular season. Just playmakers from everywhere on the court. Good offense, good defense. They really are blending well. Their serves are at times almost impossible for serve receive, but at the same time it's an opportunity for Hastings College to play their way through the Great Plains Athletic Conference tournament. They are a team that fully believes they can play with anybody. I've seen it with my own two eyes. They took the 8th ranked team in the country right down to the very final point. So an opportunity for Hastings College to continue their season and maybe pick up a chance to get a berth in the NAIA National Tournament. A big win on opening round on Morningside. You can see how committed this team is. They were able to take down a higher seed in the 4-seeded Morningside in 4. So it's a team that's committed to continuing their season, and they're going to lay it all on the line and leave everything on the court come tomorrow night. You better believe it.
All right, NFL stuff last night. The Miami Dolphins picked up a big win as they knocked off the Los Angeles Rams by the score of 23-15. The Dolphins now 3-6 on the season. The Rams fall to 4-5. So the Fins, picking up a win last night over the Rams 23-15.
And it concludes Tyson picking up a win over top team in the league, Mike Will, 109-103.
Did we have any players even playing last night? I wrote it off as a loss. I didn't even check.
No, we didn't have anybody going. I just wanted to reiterate the fact that I won and you lost. So we have 4 leagues. I do things a little bit ridiculous over here on the West Side Studios. I have 4 fantasy football leagues. It's one of those things every year I say, I'm gonna clean my plate and get less stress, and I'm gonna take down my fantasy football leagues from 2 to 1, and then from 2 it goes to 3, and then from 3 it goes to 4, and every year we join another league. But in the grand scheme of things, 4 teams won 3 of my games. I didn't do worth a damn in the Blazing 5, but I won 3 of my fantasy football games.
Wow.
So I am trying for like this whole positive encouragement week here as I look at myself in the mirror. You look yourself in the mirror and you say you were a loser like I was in the Blazing 5. History is doomed to repeat itself, so I'm trying things up. I'm mixing up the feng shui, and I'm taking a look at the positives. And the positives, we go 3 for 4 in fantasy football, baby. Let's go.
Well, the week was pretty good then.
It's off to a good start.
Dallas Cowboys are sticking with Cooper Rush as their starting quarterback for next Monday's home game against the Houston Texans. In Sunday's loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, Rush completed 13 of 26 passes for 45 yards. And he lost 2 fumbles. He also was sacked once. And most importantly, the Cowboys did not score a touchdown in their first game without Dak Prescott, who was out with an injury. So Cooper Rush stays in as the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, as we will see him in next Monday night's home game against the Houston Texans. Those are pretty good stats. 13 of 26, 45 yards, lost 2 fumbles, and he was sacked once.
The only quarterback that's sitting out there that thinks that those are good stats is Jeff Sims. I mean, let's be realistic. Does it seem like to me like a couple of these NFL teams, I think the Cowboys are the glaringly obvious one. And maybe, no offense to some respects, Kansas City, but like these teams don't have a backup plan if their starting quarterback goes out. Like, hey, what happens if Dak gets injured? Oh no, we're gonna put our faith and trust in Cooper Rush. Like, what NFL executive is sitting in that room thinking, oh, that'll work? Yeah, that should work out.
Although Cooper Rush came in earlier when Dak was out, and not this year. I think it was last year that he went like 5-1 with Dak Prescott on the sidelines with an injury. But, last year he pulled it off. He just had a bad game.
Right.
Number one, his Cowboys are not nearly as good as they were last year, and that's not saying much. The Cowboys are not good this year for some reason. Anyway, they got some struggles, and Cooper Rush is going to stay in as quarterback. Your Buffalo Bills going to be without one of their team's top wide receivers for their game this week against the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs. Rookie Keon Coleman has been ruled out of the ball game on Monday. He's dealing with a right wrist injury suffered in the Week 9 win over the Dolphins. So your Buffalo Bills going to be playing behind the 8 ball when they take on my Kansas City Chiefs this week, as Keon Coleman is out with an injury. Is that a big thing for you guys?
Keon Coleman is a playmaker, and we were really looking forward to the offense. We got to get Amari Cooper back. Period. We get Amari Cooper over. He hasn't played a snap. I mean, he has been out the last 2 weeks for Buffalo. And here's how his status looks all the way going up to kickoff. Because I got bit on it 2 weeks ago. You got bit by it this week.
Yep.
It's questionable. 11:59:50 out. And so we got to get Amari Cooper back to full strength. Hopefully, obviously he's going to be needed, and he's going to be the main target if he's back and playing against that Kansas City secondary. If you don't have Cooper in the lineup and you lose Coleman, there's not a lot of targets, and it's a very dink and dunk, tight end pass heavy offense. That will have to try to focus on running the football with Cooks and bring over Allen in there and make him mobile. I mean, he's going to find ways, and they're going to be able to compete. But you throw away 2 very talented wide receiver weapons, and gone are the days of Gabby Davis as he went over to Jacksonville. So yeah, there's not a lot to throw to if you lose Coleman and Cooper in the same week. We'll keep an eye on that and monitor his status as we get closer to kickoff. And for fantasy football purposes, make sure you check at 11:59 to see if Amari Cooper's playing.
That's why you beat me in fantasy football, because I had him in my lineup, and then mid-afternoon I kind of checked the status of things and said, what do you mean he's out? What do you mean he's out? How does that happen? I watched the ESPN morning routine for 3 hours. I didn't say one word about it. And then at 11:59, Amari Cooper is not playing. I thought, no, wait. Of course, he hasn't done much. Here this season, so I just kind of got him in my lineup.
Yeah, he'll be a threat once he's on the field. But you got to get on the field.
Yeah, he'll score me 5 or 6 points, which is what I needed to beat you this week.
Yeah,
5 or 6 points. So thank you very much. Leave it to the Buffalo Bills to screw me.
Yep.
Amari Cooper, he took me out of my fantasy football win.
We might have to get that on record. Leave it to the Buffalo Bills to screw me, because coming up this Sunday, Kansas City and Buffalo, it's a big match. By the way, Crew Chief Indorf wants to know before we hit local news break here in just a few. Crew Chief Mike Indorf says, Ty, would you say that Christmas came early with the Matt Satterfield news? Yes, that my opinion is absolutely emphatically yes. There was plenty of presents under the tree to open up and finally be able to breathe a little fresh air in Husker Nation again.
You've been whining about that for
I have been pleading,
3 weeks.
Desperately pleading, and then finally they pulled the trigger.
One other sports note before we get to the news break. NBA season is underway, and very quietly, the Cleveland Cavaliers improved to 12-0 last night.
Oh, wow.
They beat the Chicago Bulls 119-113, making Cleveland the 8th team in NBA history to begin a season undefeated in its first 12 games. Cleveland is the first team to rack up this many wins to start the season since the 2015-2016 Golden State Warriors, who won an NBA record 24 games in a row to begin the season. They went on to finish 73-9 that season. So the Cleveland Cavaliers, NBA fans in the month of November, there's not many of them, but they're no, who watches the NBA?
Right. Well, here's the deal, and I'll be brief about this, and we can talk more about this after the news break. But it's an interesting point. I know Joey Logano in NASCAR, and as you're talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers, I'm thinking and I'm scratching my head, and I'm like, dude, I can. If you ask me right now, name the leading scorer for the Cleveland Cavaliers, I wouldn't be able to do it. That's how little I pay attention to NBA basketball because of the way it's run and also in the fact that it's November. I didn't realize we were 12 games in. Holy cow.
Yeah, 12 games in, and they're 12-0. So kudos to the Cleveland Cavaliers. There might be one Cleveland Cavalier fan in our listening audience, but I thought I'd throw that in there because that's a nice little streak there. First time that's happened since the 2015-2016 Golden State Warriors. So those are some of the things bubbling under the headlines here today. It's 6:20 now on Extreme Sports as you wake up with Mike and Tyson.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
News this hour brought to you in part by the Hastings Federal Credit Union, lighting the way to financial success since 1946. Hastings Federal Credit Union is proud to be your trusted long-term financial partner. As a nonprofit financial cooperative, the credit union is owned by the members who join, and joining the credit union is as simple as opening a primary savings account. Access your accounts wherever you go with mobile banking, bringing you financial peace of mind right from the palm of your hand, where you can securely and conveniently manage your accounts and loans at any time, from anywhere. Transfer funds, deposit checks, pay bills with bill pay, and quickly access your account balances to help you cover whatever little curveballs life throws your way. Like a rock going through a sunroof with mobile banking today. It's one of the many ways you can experience the credit union difference. Hastings Federal Credit Union, 707 North Marion Road, or online hastingsfcu.org. Hastings Federal Credit Union, an equal housing lender. We'll start off this morning in Aurora, where at 3 p.m. yesterday, Hamilton County deputies responded to a pickup and semi crash on Highway 14. The accident occurring 3 miles north of Aurora, resulting in 2 fatalities. Preliminary investigation shows the semi crossed the center line and struck the pickup. The driver and rear seat passenger of the pickup were killed. Another passenger in the pickup transported to Grand Island with injuries. The driver of the semi not injured. Next of kin has been notified, and names of those involved are not being released at this time. Back to election news this morning. We are still waiting for the final call on the race for the Grand Island-centric Legislative District 35 seat for the state capitol between current Democrat frontrunner Dan Quick and Republican incumbent Ray Aguilar. We should be getting more insight by around November 18th for the final numbers, which are just provisionals left. State Democratic Party Chair Jane Klebb posted an update yesterday at Facebook and made a statement saying, quote, "There is no off cycle for us as the state and county party. We are always building, always working to expand the map, and always doing our best to listen and make things better." 2 other races are considered too close to call for the state legislature here on this Tuesday morning. Staying at the state capitol, Governor Jim Pillen is providing state senators with the newly published 2024 School Property Tax Collection Report. It's aimed at providing historical context for funding of the state's school districts, the impact of recent legislation in reining in property tax increases, and a request to state senators to consider legislation that will, quote, "finally address inconsistencies in state aid to schools," end quote. The report compares data across each of the state's 244 school districts, accounting for the impact of state aid and property tax increases to taxpayers in those districts. The analysis calls for Nebraska lawmakers to provide greater funding certainty through TIOSA. The formula has undergone multiple adjustments and scrutiny since its creation in 1990, which has also made it more confusing and created differences among districts in how they manage predicting budget shortfalls that are subsequently made up through property tax increases. According to a press release from the governor's office, the report claims that the recent caps enacted by the legislature are working to slow the growth of school property taxes. It is estimated that in 2024, growth will be at 2.7%, the smallest percentage increase since 2018. But the report also says the state still needs to find a way to better help districts budget for the aid they do get, thereby creating some predictability and hopefully further reduce what Nebraskans end up paying in property taxes year over year over year. 7:23, we'll swing things back over to the East Side Studios. Mike Will, what's going on in sports?
Well, the Nebraska volleyball team remains number 2 in the latest AVCA coaches poll. The Huskers are 24-1 on the season. Pittsburgh remains number 1. Louisville is 3rd, followed by Penn State and Creighton. Rounding out the top 10 are Wisconsin, Stanford, Purdue, Arizona State, and SMU. Nebraska Kearney has moved up 1 spot to number 4 in the AVCA Division II poll. Ferris State is ranked number 1. Nebraska senior libero Lexi Rodriguez has been named the Defensive Player of the Week in the Big Ten Conference. It's her 7th career weekly defensive honor and the 2nd this season. Rodriguez had 25 digs in a pair of road wins last week over Oregon and Washington. In doing so, she passed Kayla Banwarth for second all-time at Nebraska in career digs with 1,731. Justine Wong-Arantes is the career leader with 1,890. The Nebraska football team making a coaching change. Head coach Matt Rule has named Dana Holgerson the offensive coordinator, taking over for Marcus Satterfield. Holgerson came to Lincoln as an offensive consultant during the bye week. He is the former head coach at West Virginia and Houston. Over the past 4 games, the Huskers have scored just 58 points and are 1-3 in those games, including a 49-7 drubbing by Indiana. Satterfield will remain on staff to coach the tight ends. The Big Ten Conference has announced that Nebraska's game against Wisconsin on November 23rd will kick off at 3 and will be televised on the Big Ten Network. It'll be the front end of a Nebraska-Wisconsin doubleheader that day, as the Husker volleyball team will host Wisconsin beginning at 7, also on BTN. The Nebraska women's basketball team will host Southern tonight at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Huskers are 2-0 in the season after Saturday's 78-68 win over Southeastern Louisiana. Tip-off of the game tonight will be at 7. Hastings College women's basketball team will play at Bellevue tonight. The Broncos are 2-0 in the season. Tip-off will be at 6. The women's soccer team will play Concordia tonight for the GPAC Tournament Championship at Lloyd Wilson Field. Game time will be at 7. We'll have the action here on Extreme Sports, beginning with a pregame show at about 6:45. The men's soccer team will play at Concordia tomorrow night for the GPAC Championship. The volleyball team will play at Northwestern tomorrow in the GPAC semifinals. To check on your sports headlines this morning, it is 7:26 on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
Another nice day today on Tuesday, with the exception we'll have breezy conditions. Hey everybody, Tim Jones. Here's a look at your forecast. 58 degrees, plenty of sunshine on Tuesday. Southerly winds gusting up to 35 miles per hour can be expected today. A cold front will come through tonight, give us a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Better chances for accumulating rainfall to our east. Shower chances continue Wednesday morning. Breezy, a high of 50 degrees. 31 overnight Wednesday night, and Thursday a high of 61.
Right now, as you wake up, get going this morning, 37 degrees. The wind's out of the southeast at 12 with gusts at 23. And the wind chill index, it feels like 24 this morning. As you wake up and get going this morning with Mike and Tyson on Extreme Sports, and Huddle Up.
This holiday season, take control of your health and give the gift of wellness at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. From November 10th through December 31st, we're here to help you unwind, rejuvenate, and feel your best. Treat yourself or a loved one to our soothing massages, relaxing head spa scalp treatments, and luxurious Glow 2 facials. Discover the healing benefits of ozone therapy and frequency healing. Looking for an extra special gift? Our gift certificates are the perfect way to share the gift of wellness. Plus, become a member and enjoy 24-hour access to our exclusive therapeutic amenities, including the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge. Members also save 20% on all services and 10% on products from our non-toxic retail shop. Give the gift of health, peace. Enjoy this holiday season only at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and Bob Sass Flowers has you covered for all your holiday gift and decor needs. We have a gift for all ages, from seasonal candles, sourdough bread mix, geometry towels, children's clothing, Serenoni blankets, fat brain toys, silk, and fresh seasonal arrangements. We also carry a wide selection of seasonal decor, including ornaments, silk wreaths, stems, and garlands. Join us for our annual holiday sale happening November 11th through the 16th. All week long, enjoy 20% off savings store-wide. Tuesday night, November 12th, we will be hosting Ladies' Night Out from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join us for a night full of snacks, shopping, and savings. Serving Hastings since 1955, located at 2618 West 2nd Street in Hastings.
Extreme Sports has been bringing you the exclusive home of Hastings College Athletics, and we're just getting started. Thanks to our incredible sponsors and your support, Extreme Sports 2 has been a huge success. And now we're excited to announce the launch of Extreme Sports 3. With Extreme Sports 3, you'll get even more local sports coverage. Plus, 24/7 access to Sports by Line, where you'll hear the best in national sports talk. Whether it's Hastings College, high school action, or the latest from around the sports world, we've got it covered across all 3 streams. And don't forget, when we're not broadcasting games, join us weekday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. for Huddle Up with Mike Will and Tyson Havronik. It's the perfect way to start your day with sports, news, weather, and great local interviews. So tune in, check out all 3 streams, and stay with us for even more sports coverage coming soon. Thank you to our sponsors for making it all possible, and to you, our listeners, for keeping Extreme Sports strong.
All right, welcome back to Huddle Up and Extreme Sports. Mike Will, Tyson Havronik with you on this Tuesday morning. Again, drop us a message, Facebook Live today. Got a lot of new folks in the lounge watching us today. Drop us a message on Facebook Live. Better yet, give us a call. 402-834-1330 is our telephone number. If you want to chime in with us, something on your mind today, whether sports related or not, give us a call. Love to chat with you. 402-834-1330 is our telephone number. Of course, a lot of Husker talk today with the big coaching, not a head coaching change, but an offensive coordinator change, as Dana Holgorsen going to be calling the plays for Marcus Satterfield. Tyson, it's like a Christmas in November.
It's Christmas. We just got done playing some holiday spots, and I felt like I got in on the Christmas savings a little bit early. Like I said, Chief Endorf with the comment, how satisfied are you with the Marcus Satterfield news? I said it's the second best coaching change that I could possibly wished for this year. The first hasn't happened yet. Obviously, my baseball allegiance with the St. Louis Cardinals and Ollie Marmol and 2 straight seasons without making the postseason. Very, very, very cloudy times in the St. Louis baseball organization. And they made the press announcement earlier this year in the offseason that they're going to stick with them and ride it out. And so, okay, we're, I guess, another season of Cardinals news. So that would be the best news that I could get, is all of the clown out of there. Other than that, the Sat news is pretty refreshing, and I'm optimistic heading into this week, and I hope so is Coach Rule.
All right, so Coach kind of dropped this on us yesterday during his weekly press conference. He came right out of the chute and said that Dana Holgorsen is in, and he'll call the plays beginning this week.
Called him last week, had him come in, had him kind of look at everything. I think he's got a long history of success offensively, both as a head coach, but certainly as a coordinator before that. And I think he just kind of gives us a fresh perspective on looking at kind of what we're doing and who we're doing it with, and was able to sort of say, hey, let's kind of go in these directions over here. So I just think it gives us a great opportunity to have one of the great offensive minds, a guy that I've been friends with before and I trust, and excited to see what he does.
So Marcus Satterfield will stay on and coach the tight ends now for the Huskers.
Marcus is about as good a man as I know. And, he could have just said, hey, you know what, fire me. Give me my money. I'm going to go home. But he didn't. He didn't. And, in a world where, trust me, I get it, it's a results business, but, you're still trying to teach some life lessons to our guys. He humbled himself and said, what do I need to do? And It's like the first day Dana said to me, he watched practice. He's like, man, you got really good coaches. I'm watching them out there. Like, I'm watching EJ, I'm watching Donnie, I'm watching Sat, I'm watching Glenn, I'm watching Garrett. Like, there's great coaches here. We just have to find the things that, like, our guys do well. Let's just do those things and eliminate all the other stuff. And so, so Sat's out there coaching the tight ends. So Garrett's coaching the wideouts, Donnie's coaching the O-line, Glenn's coaching the quarterbacks, EJ's coaching the running backs, and anything that Dana needs, they're helping him. You can't come in and change the offense. You can't come in and install the air raid. You can't come in and, we're in week 11, as you said, but you can come in and say, hey, what are the things that we do well? Who are the guys that make plays, and let's figure out how to do it with those guys. So I think that's the big picture that I think he's doing right now.
And interesting enough, the coach did say they may consider changing the offensive philosophy in the future.
If you watch what Dana did at West Virginia, I think whether we're playing Lincoln Riley this week, right? They all have the air raid principles in them. Everyone's going to run mesh and cross, and the plays that they invented, everyone runs, right? So it's really taken on a much bigger picture than that, if that makes sense. I think, Coach Leach was still doing purely the air raid, but I think when you watch what Coach Holgerson's done, when you watch what Coach Riley's done, they've built powerful offenses with big people who run the football, play action, and they have some of those principles in there, but they adopt other things. So, but it's to me, this is an opportunity. I have Tony White, who I think is a great coach, who does some unique things, and he's adjusted his offense to our people, or his defense to our people, and I think it's been really good. And I think Coach Holgerson will adjust the offense to our people. And I don't know what 3 weeks from now holds. I have no idea. The off season's the off season, but this is not about next year. This is about right now. This is about us giving our guys the best chance to go out there and win at USC.
And the coach says that Husker quarterback Dylan Raiola took the news in stride.
Dylan trusts me and trusts the program. It was just kind of like, what are we doing moving forward? And, I think he just took it as like, hey, this is, what are we doing today? He's trying to get his back healthy, right? So, but I think all the guys had a really positive reaction to it. And go back to what I said last week, really at the end of the day, like, players need to play. Like, players need to go make plays. Like, you watch on Saturdays, players have to go give the players the best opportunity to go make plays, and then we need the guys to go make them. So the whole play calling thing is, okay, we've tried to handle that. Now go make some plays, and let's make this what it is. Football's a game where players win games, and we got good players. We expect them to go win some games.
And Matt says the timing was right to make the change.
Bringing in Coach Holgerson is about helping our offense be better this week against USC. It's about helping our offense be better next year. It's just about everything moving forward. And I think that so many things that we're doing are right and are trending in the right direction. This was an area that was struggling, and I tried to fix it. I hadn't been able to fix it, so I called someone that I knew could fix it. And I think Dana will fix it, and Tony will continue to do a great job, and special teams will continue to improve and play better, and the strength program will continue. We're out on the road recruiting. Like, we're going to continue to recruit well. We'll continue to learn how things are in the new Big Ten. So I just think this is an area that was not at the level we want it to, and I went and found someone that I trust.
And, oh, by the way, we do have a game this Saturday against the USC, who's also going to be debuting a new quarterback, a transfer from UNLV. And the coach says that they have a lot of things to deal with when they play the Trojans.
The tailback is, like all Lincoln Riley offenses, Marks is a fantastic tailback. He's explosive, dynamic. I've coached against Coach Riley for a long time. He's going to find a way to run the football. He's elite at what he does. And even in the last game against Washington, like they got back in the game by just running the football at a high level. Branch is, excellent slot. So that they have some guys that can really go on the outside, big matchups. And then Maava, he has the ability to move, and so does Miller. But that added part of the run game when they're running their shallow cross plays and running QB draw like they did with Jalen Hurts, or when they're pulling the ball. So now as a defense, you're having to defend the counter and the tackle trap and all these plays that they run. Plus, the opportunity for the quarterback to pull the ball and run because he's a dual threat player. So there's some more challenges for us this week on defense, and you don't know exactly which direction they're going to go with him.
So there you go, USC and Nebraska coming up this Saturday. There's a lot of midnight coaching oil that's being burnt this week because Nebraska is dealing with USC. They've got a different quarterback starting this week, the transfer from UNLV. If you're on the USC side of things, you don't know which quarterback we're going to play because Dylan Raiola is listed as questionable. So you got to prepare for Dylan Raiola, Heinrich Harnberg, and who knows who else who might be taking snaps for the Huskers this week. And then, oh, by the way, they've got a new offensive coordinator. What kind of wrinkles they're going to throw into the offense this week? So, yeah, both coaching staffs, both for USC and Nebraska, I'm sure there's a lot of work being done this week in the late hours trying to get ready for the ball game on Saturday.
And this has kind of been interesting to monitor. When you look at the line, 9-point favorites right now, USC. I got to think a lot of that is because of some uncertainty at the quarterback position for Nebraska. I think if Raiola comes out and is officially named the starting QB, that will go down a little bit. But I expected and didn't see much reflection when we had the offensive coordinator change on the line. So, yeah, 9-point favorites for USC, and might be just a good idea to sneak in a little bit early and get in on some Nebraska action, although you unfortunately can't do it at casinos because that law in the legislature, but might be a good day to get in on the Huskers here. 9-point dogs on the road this weekend to USC, and it'll be interesting to watch how this line, which I'm going to guess is going to get smaller and smaller by the time kickoff arrives as the week progresses.
We'll know more about Dylan Raiola today. The Huskers will practice, and we'll see what Dylan can do at practice today. But they are preparing a couple of other quarterbacks just in case he is not able to go. Also, Tuesday is usually the day that we hear from the coordinators. I'll be anxious to see if they run out data and talk with the media this week. Or just keep him back in the wings, waiting maybe next week to talk to us. But I'll be anxious to see if he steps out there today.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to hear and kind of maybe his long-term goals now that he's been named the offensive coordinator. You mentioned the hybrid air raid offense. It's not like a full-on Mike Leach, Washington State, Mississippi State era of the air raid offense, Texas Tech as well. This has become like a hybrid in college football where you're seeing more and more run get integrated, but it's not the old-fashioned run like we like. You line everybody up tight and you just bang straight ahead for a couple of yards and wear down that defensive line. This is really it's a modified run game that comes out of the shotgun formation, getting that running back with a little bit of space and separation before he even touches the football, and he's able to see the lane get cut. We're seeing more and more offenses go to it and have some success at it. And while the old school football guy in me is like, man, that's not running the football. At the same time, it's been proven successful. And so we're integrating an offense that you look around the nation, top teams are using it. I mean, watch the SEC, man. They're using this kind of hybrid offense. And now we're getting it installed here at Nebraska. And it feels like you're making some tweaks and changes for the future that are really exciting. And I'm with you. I'd love to hear him speak before the media. Do you throw him out into arguably one of the most intense media followings in all of college football on day two? I don't know, but certainly it was very interesting because, as you mentioned it, Mike, it was game week. We had USC to prepare for. It felt like yesterday's press conference was a lot of questions about OC and offensive philosophy and a lot of questions about us. I'm curious to see as we move forward to get more on these USC Trojans, which have been really the Jekyll and Hyde of the Big Ten this year. At times they have looked like they could contend for a conference title, and then at times they throw up stinkers. So they are as inconsistent as us. And I think it's an even matchup coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, USC, they have 5 losses this year, but I think I read this morning the 5 losses, a combined 19 points. So USC is good. 9 points that you threw out there, again, that seems a little high. 9 points seems
does.
a little bit high over the Huskers, but we're not the experts. We're not the experts on anything.
No.
We're certainly not setting lines.
Certainly.
Certainly not setting lines. So we don't know what the hell is going on. So maybe the experts do know something, that USC is halfway decent. They're not as bad as the record might indicate, but we're going to learn more about that throughout the week. Yeah, the press conference yesterday with the coach, exactly one question was asked about USC, which is amazing. And
Yes.
that one cut I played you was the only question that was asked of Matt Rule yesterday. One question, it's game week. And they asked one question about the opponents this week.
Versus USC, brand new opponent in the Big Ten.
One question. And we won't get to see or hear from Madigan until Thursday.
Oh, wow.
So, he's not available on Wednesday. And again, like we said, the coordinators come out and talk to us on Tuesday. We spent, I think it was a 30-minute press conference yesterday with Matt Rule.
Yep.
And like 27 minutes and 30 seconds was devoted to the Dana Holgorsen hire. So we don't know any more about USC than we did yesterday at this time.
I mean, at this point, you got to focus on us. We got to do the right things. We got to get right, and I think we took a gigantic step towards that yesterday. So we'll see as the season progresses. We'll see as the week progresses. Yeah, I'm with you. I think is that 11 o'clock in the morning with the press conferences.
11:30, I think it is.
11:30. Yeah, we'll be very curious to see who takes the stand today. Whether it's one of the coaches on the offensive staff or Holgorsen himself. But looking forward to hearing his plans for the future of this offense for sure.
They send out just Tony White. Is going to be about a 10-minute press conference today because he's short and to the point.
Yep.
One other note here before we get to the news break. John Robinson, remember him? John Robinson, veteran football coach.
Okay.
He enjoyed many years of success at USC and the Los Angeles Rams. He died yesterday. Died at the age of 89. Complications from pneumonia. Robinson is high on the short list of football coaches who enjoyed significant success in both the college and pro ranks. He went 104, 35-4 at USC, and he went 75-68 with the Rams. So former USC head coach John Robinson died yesterday at the age of 89. So I'd throw that in USC week.
R.I.P.
All right, you're listening to Mike and Tyson here this morning. Huddle up on Extreme Sports. It is 7:47.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
Good morning from Extreme Sports. News this hour brought to you in part by the Hastings Federal Credit Union, where since 1946, Hastings Federal Credit Union has been a part of the Hastings community, and it's community that is at the heart of everything they do. As a nonprofit financial cooperative, the credit union is owned by the members who join, and joining the credit union is as simple as opening a primary savings account. With a convenient drive-up 24-hour ATM and a friendly staff who knows each member by name, why would you go anywhere else? Hastings Federal Credit Union, 707 North Marion Road, or online, hastingsfcu.org. Hastings Federal Credit Union, an equal housing lender. We'll start off this morning just north of Aurora, where at 3 p.m. yesterday, Hamilton County deputies responded to a pickup semi-crash on Highway 14, resulting in 2 fatalities. Preliminary investigation showing that the semi crossed the center line and struck the pickup. The driver and the rear seat passenger in the pickup were killed. Another passenger in the pickup transported to Grand Island with injuries. The driver of the semi not injured. Next of kin has not yet been notified, thus the names involved are not being released at this time. Back to election news this morning. We are still waiting for the final call on the race for the Grand Island-centric Legislative District 35 seat at the state capitol between current Democratic frontrunner Dan Quick and Republican incumbent Ray Aguilar. We should be getting more insight by around November 18th for the final numbers, which are just the provisionals left. The race for District 35 joins 2 others in the state legislature that are too close to call, and State Democratic Party Chair Jane Klebb took to Facebook yesterday to update the status of those races and made the statement, quote, "There is no off cycle for us as the state and county party. We are always building, always working to expand the map, and always doing our best to listen and make things better, end quote. We'll stay at the state capitol and put property taxes in the center focus along with school funding, as Governor Jim Pillen is now providing state senators with the newly published 2024 school property tax collection report. That's a mouthful, but it's aimed at providing historical context for funding of the state's school districts, the impact of recent legislation in reining in property tax increases, and a request to state senators to consider legislation that will finally address inconsistencies in state aid to school. The analysis calls for Nebraska lawmakers to provide greater funding through the TIOSA formula, the formula that has undergone multiple adjustments and scrutiny since its creation in 1990. It's also made it more confusing and has created differences among how school districts, the 244 of them, manage predicting budget shortfalls that are subsequently made up through property tax increases. According to the press release from the governor's office, the report is claiming that the recent caps enacted by the legislature are working to slow the growth of school property taxes. It is estimated that in 2024, this year, growth will be at 2.7%, the smallest percentage increase since 2018. But the report also does say that the state still needs to find a way to better help districts budget for the aid they do get, thereby creating some predictability and hopefully further reduce what Nebraskans end up paying in property taxes year over year over year over year. 7:50, Mike. We'll swing things back over to the East Side Studios. Fill us in with the latest on sports.
Well, the Nebraska volleyball team remains number 2 in the latest AVCA coaches poll. The Huskers are 24-1 on the season. Pittsburgh remains number 1. Louisville is 3rd, followed by Penn State and Creighton. Rounding out the top 10 are Wisconsin, Stanford, Purdue, Arizona State, and SMU. Nebraska Kearney has moved up 1 spot to number 4 in the AVCA Division II poll. Ferris State is ranked number 1. Nebraska's senior libero Lexi Rodriguez has been named the Defensive Player of the Week in the Big Ten Conference. It's her 7th career weekly defensive honor and the 2nd this season. Rodriguez had 25 digs and a pair of road wins last week over Oregon and Washington. In doing so, she passed Caleb Banwarth for 2nd all-time on Nebraska's career list for digs, 1,731. Justine Wong-Arantes is the career leader with 1,890. The Nebraska football team making a coaching change. Head coach Matt Rule has named Dana Holgerson the offensive coordinator, taking over from Marcus Satterfield. Holgerson came to Lincoln as an offensive consultant during the bye week. He is the former head coach at West Virginia and Houston. Over the past 4 games, the Huskers have scored just 58 points and are 1-3 in those games, including a 49-7 drubbing by Indiana. Satterfield will remain on staff to coach the tight ends. The Big Ten Conference has announced that Nebraska's game against Wisconsin on November 23rd will kick off at 3 and will be televised on the Big Ten Network. It'll be the front end of a Nebraska-Wisconsin doubleheader that day, as the Husker volleyball team will host Wisconsin beginning at 7, also on BTN. The Nebraska women's basketball team will host Southern tonight at Pinnacle Bank Arena. The Huskers are 2-0 in the season after Saturday's 78-68 win over Southeastern Louisiana. Tip-off will be at 7. Hastings College women's basketball team will play at Bellevue University tonight. The Broncos are 2-0 in the season. Tip-off will be at 6. The women's soccer team will play Concordia tonight for the GPAC Tournament Championship out at Lloyd Wilson Field. Game time will be at 7. We'll have the action tonight here on Extreme Sports, beginning with a pregame show at 6:45. And the men's soccer team will play at Concordia tomorrow night for the GPAC Championship. The volleyball team will play at Northwestern tomorrow in the GPAC semifinals. In the NFL last night, Miami beat the Los Angeles Rams 23-15. To check in your sports headlines at 7:53.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
Another nice day today on Tuesday, with the exception we'll have breezy conditions. Hey everybody, Tim Jones. Here's a look at your forecast. 58 degrees, plenty of sunshine on Tuesday. Southerly winds gusting up to 35 miles per hour can be expected today. A cold front will come through tonight, give us a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Better chances for accumulating rainfall to our east. Shower chances continue Wednesday morning. Breezy, a high of 50 degrees. 31 overnight Wednesday night, and Thursday a high of 61.
Right now it is 37 in Hastings. Winds out of the southeast at 12, gusting to 23. Feels like 24 as you wake up, get going this morning on Extreme Sports.
Accessible and affordable holistic care is just around the corner at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. Located at 208 South Burlington Avenue, Suite 101 in Hastings. At Bamboo Spa, we offer a range of therapies to help you unwind and recharge. Experience soothing massages, rejuvenating head spa scalp treatments, and our Advanced Glow 2 facials. Discover the healing power of ozone therapy and frequency healing. Become a member for exclusive 24-hour access to our therapeutic amenities, including the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge. Members enjoy 20% off all services and 10% off products in our non-toxic retail shop. Visit our Facebook page to learn more and book your appointment today. Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, truly holistic care, designed for you.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and Bob Sass Flowers has you covered for all your holiday gift and decor needs. We have a gift for all ages, from seasonal candles, sourdough bread mix, geometry towels, children's clothing, Serenoni blankets, Fat Brain toys, silk, and fresh seasonal arrangements. We also carry a wide selection of seasonal decor, including ornaments, silk wreaths, stems, and garlands. Join us for our annual holiday sale happening November 11th through the 16th. All week long, enjoy 20% off savings store-wide. Tuesday night, November 12th, we will be hosting Ladies' Night Out from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join us for a night full of snacks, shopping, and savings. Serving Hastings since 1955, located at 2618 West 2nd Street in Hastings.
All right, good morning. You're listening to Huddle Up on Extreme Sports. Mike Will and Tyson Vronick ready to get you out the door here today for this Tuesday. Again, we got soccer action coming up tonight. The Hastings College Broncos up against Concordia for the GPAC Tournament Championship. 7 o'clock will be game time. 6:45, the pregame show tonight on Extreme Sports. And, of course, later on this week, we've got the Sandy Creek Cougar football on Friday, and then we begin our basketball coverage on Saturday. Hastings College taking on Waldorf. Women's game will be at 2, with the men's game at about 3:45 or so. On the air with the pregame at about 1:45 from Lynn Farrell Arena as we pack up and head indoors for the winter sports season. The Bronco basketball team in action against Waldorf. Fortunately enough, we're at home for the conference opener instead of on the road to Forest City, Iowa, which is like on the edge of the universe. No, we went up there for football. It's like we drove forever.
Forest City, Iowa, on the edge of the universe.
Well, not as bad as Jamestown, but damn close.
Pretty close. I think you're about getting to the point where you have my love of road trips. I think, as you know, Marcus has always has been saying, he's like, "Oh, that's such a beautiful drive. We wouldn't mind going up there." And I go, "Hell yes, we would."
Yeah,
that's 3 hours. That's 3 hours away. That's 3 hours away on a Friday.
I don't mind. I don't mind the 3.5, 4 hour trips, which is kind of a norm on the GPAC circuit. But Jesus. 4 hours, we're halfway. Yeah, we're halfway.
Oh, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. So GPAC conference getting underway with Jamestown and the Bronco basketball team.
No, not Jamestown.
Oh, not Jamestown. Waldorf. Thank you. Thank you. You put Jamestown in my brain. So yeah, get the G-Pack, get the sneakers laced up. You'll be courtside there from Lynn Farrell Arena. Coming up on tomorrow's show, by the way, wanted to give a quick subtle plug. City Communications Manager Tony Herman will be our guest. He's going to be talking about a survey that was put out in your utility bills this past month and is also available up online. A communications survey that is strictly for communications. How are you receiving information about the city? Basically, kind of what can we do differently? What do you like that's being done? And so we'll talk all about that tomorrow and engage Hastings a little bit. That interview playing at 7:45. That's when then I'll be kind of skipping out of the studios because I got to hit the road to Grand Island tomorrow morning to talk about Extreme Sports. Remember the interview that we had with Amy about 1 million cups, the entrepreneurship meeting. We are going to be featured at 8:30 in Grand Island tomorrow morning, and excited to not only share the Extreme Sports story and what we've done here with Huddle Up in 3 very short months, but also to network with other entrepreneurs and get the opportunity to answer a few questions and shake some hands and see if we can't make some connections up there. So a good opportunity for us tomorrow morning over in Grand Island. I'll be there live with cup of coffee in hand, talking about the Extreme Sports story.
8:30.
8:30.
Get a move on it then, huh?
Yeah, well, so like I said, we'll probably bug out about 7:45. I'll give the rock to you to close down the show.
I can handle that.
But I think you can handle that.
I can handle it. So then we got into high school football. We'll talk about later on in the week. So a bunch of stuff still coming up. If you'd like to be the guest predictor this week on our Blazing 5, you're hitting us in a good spot because neither one of us are coming off of a real whoopee week. So if you'd like to be a big opportunity for you to shine, if you'd like to be our guest predictor on our Blazing 5 picks, just drop us a message on the Facebook or email.
I see you, Tim. I see you watching.
Yeah, I see Tim on there.
Tim's on there.
He could be a candidate now.
Indeed.
Maybe I'll get a hold of him this week. Tim, maybe we can get a hold of Tim. He could be the guest predictor.
There you go.
I got another guy in mind too. Joins in the show quite often. Russ.
Yeah.
I'll get a hold of one of those guys this week and see if we scrounge up a guest predictor. They can't do any worse than us. Can't do anything worse than
Not
us.
at this point.
All right, thanks for joining us today. Again, a lot of Husker football talk with the news coming out of Lincoln. We'll see who they throw out there for a press conference today. Could hear from Dana Holgerson tomorrow on the show as well. So lots of stuff coming up. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbors about Huddle Up in Extreme Sports. We do this every Monday through Friday between 7 and 8 o'clock. Have yourself a great day.
You've been listening to Huddle Up on Extreme Sports, Central Nebraska's new